Geoffrey Thorne, Dexter Soy, and Marco Santucci usher in a new era for the Green Lantern Corps as the Guardians host the United Planets on Oa to try and gain membership into the galaxy-spanning government, but some of the delegates don't wish for the Lanterns to be part of it and will do anything to stop them. Geoffrey Thorne, hot off writing the Green Lantern Future State books, does a fantastic job setting up his run with this first issue, focusing on John Stewart as the main character and how he is the leader of the Corps, a position he's still trying to fit himself into. I quite enjoyed the more political setting of the book as well, with the majority of the issue being characters debating if the Guardians are worthy of joining the United Planets. Something I'm really happy to see is still being used in such a large capacity across all of the DC books. Teen Lantern also gets a lot of time in this issue as we learn a little bit more about her gauntlet, but not enough so that we know what it is fully. So I'm looking forward to Thorne exploring more of that in the coming issues. Dexter Soy and Marco Santucci both take equal parts of the book in a cool little idea, with Soy doing all of the Lantern action outside of the delegate hall, while Marco tackles the political side of the story inside the hall. It was done really well, especially because both artists' art styles are very complementary with one another, and it's not like this huge shift between pages. Green Lantern issue 1 was a fantastic beginning to Geoffrey Thorne's new book, An Era of the Green Lanterns, perfectly balancing out the action and political drama to create a compelling opening for John Stewart and his Corps' new story. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. Green Lantern issue 1 finds John Stewart calling for the Lanterns to get the people clear on Oa as Simon demands to know what the hell is going on. John saves his friend from some falling debris, asking where Kelly is, but Simon thought that she was with John. Soon they find the Teen Lantern, who is busy saving people from the rubble being thrown around by a cyclone. John tells Simon to go get her as Ameria Callan joins him, blasting more rubble away as she says that this deadly cyclone belongs to the Lanterns since it has their energy in it. John knows it's not their fault, but the Hawk Woman says that she sees a city destroyed and sentients dead, also seeing weakness and chaos along with the Corps leader John Stewart. 2 hours before, Hal Jordan's communication construct meets with John, noticing the faraway look the Lantern Corps leader has, but the man says that he's just thinking he's not so sure hosting the United Planets conclave on Oa was the best idea, since the political structure of the whole galaxy is being stripped down and rebuilt right there, and some of the people have been at each other's throats for thousands of years, pointing out Dominators, Sinestro's people, and even some Red Lanterns. Hal knows that they took a second to swallow, but if the Reds are there, then what does that tell John? The arriving Ameria says that it means that their services are no longer needed, as she introduces herself to the Lanterns as the captain of the United Planet Brigade, wondering if John is fearful of the conclave and the new paradigm shift, but John says she is mistaking them for some other kind of Lanterns since they don't fear. She notes how all the Lanterns of the sectors were recalled in order to show their respect, but many see it as a show of force. In either case, the galaxy's axis is shifted, and the question isn't if it will fit, but rather will they exist. She takes off into the sunset, hoping they enjoy the sun, as both Hal and John know that all Thanagarians are the same. The Guardians soon call on Hal to deliver his report on the crux of the worlds, so the hero says that he's on Earth already and he's put the Justice League on high alert, and Lantern Crews is in Sector 0123 to protect Oishisha's moons. Hal also says that Kyle is dealing with the border skirmishes in the Vega system, with his last message stating that all is well, while Mogo has shifted orbit to the other side of Oa's sun, so everything is secure. The Guardians agree, wanting him to resume his watch, so Hal tells John that's his cue to leave, knowing if John needs him, he's just a hyperspace jump away. As he leaves, he thinks that John maybe should ease back a bit on the brooding, since the conclave is a good thing since people are talking instead of killing, and it's as the blue guys always say, all will be well. John is asked to join the Guardians in the evaluation creche since they deem the Teen Lantern to be a quantum conundrum, meaning the answer to his questions are both yes and no. Teen Lantern meanwhile continues her tests as John and Simon watch on, finding that the Teen Lantern is really ticked off with these tests. Simon knows that she was fine before when he left, telling John all about the 11-year-old and how she was good with the IQ, psych, and physical stuff, but when they tried to take the glove, she freaked out. Kelly comes down to them, avoiding the Guardians who continue to try and take the gauntlet from her, telling John that they cannot have their weapon, but the Guardians know they need to examine it, and to do so they must remove it from her arm. John calms them all down, wanting Simon to take Kelly down into the festival to get some food. The two lanterns head off, leaving John to tell the Guardians that it's not Krona's gauntlet she wields. The Guardians know, but they share a similar design, but it's not the same and it's not of Owen origin and doesn't draw power from the central battery. The Guardians believe that this, among other recent disruptions of the Omniverse and other things, are happening for a reason. John is aware that they don't believe in coincidences, but the Guardians know that coincidences are just patterns not yet discerned. The Guardians say that the Omniverse hasn't yet settled, which means the tapestry isn't fully woven yet, but they find some of these threads quite disquieting, asking if John sees them too. John is surprised he's being asked for his opinion, learning while the Guardians see nearly all there is, they can't experience any of it as he does, and their impartiality has sometimes been a liability, so John is their bridge between them and the others. John is honoured to be that, but he has concerns since the universe is a powder keg right now, and while the United Planets is a good thing, the Guardians know it could set off a frenzy of violence, and it's why they agreed to host this gathering, hoping their support will inspire others. Heading into the chambers, they find all the gathered delegates bickering, called to order by a Kaluan delegate who knows that half the people there believe the Guardians want to set aside their de facto status and become the policing agency for the United Planets, which is incorrect, since the question is if Oa will be accepted into the United Planets at all. Teen Lantern meanwhile talks with some of the aliens down in the festival, not scared of the one she is talking to since she's been to Gemworld, so she's already seen so much, calling the alien a beautiful wedding dress come alive. Simon arrives with food that's a plant that apparently tastes like hot wings as the girl tells the being about Gemworld, but the alien doesn't really understand, asking what sector is hers, but Kelly says she's not really a lantern. Soon some other delegates appear, calling Kelly a liar when she said that she went to Gemworld, being that their gates have been closed for eons. Simon tries to calm them all down, but the leader of the party continues to goad Kelly, grabbing at her and causing Simon to attack, telling the woman that Kelly told her to stay away. The woman says that the universe would have been a paradise and there should have been magic everywhere, but the Guardians broke the cosmos when they stole half of it, so tonight they pay. Back in the chambers, Pay of Fel continues to speak on behalf of her collective, having long observed so much of the chaos fomented by many of the races there, with the only force for justice for over a millennia being the Guardians of Oa, who without thought or payment go against the tides of chaos. Therefore, logic dictates that they be accepted into the United Planets. Many vote in favor of it, but also a few vote to deny them as John and the other Guardians join Kilowog and Guy, who gives John grief for his robes, but John says he likes the Kryptonian design, especially since Superman and Superboy were responsible for creating the United Planets. Simon soon contacts John, telling him of a situation they have outside, so stepping out, John is told by Simon of the situation with the Fairy Queen, who was spouting a bunch of anti-Guardian stuff and trying to grab Teen Lantern, and now the Queen and her people are doing some strange glowing ritual. Ameria says that she needs to bring forth her team, but John says it's being handled as Salak and Chip try to reason with the beings from Xerox, telling them that their display won't affect the outcome of the conclave. The Queen, who says her name is Ridian, calls herself a master opener of all gates, doors, past and fate. Her spell buries deeper into Oa, past the science cells and the ancient libraries, and soon finding the Star Heart, remembering the Guardians stole it and shut all of their world gates, and now, with a word, they open again. Uttering her magical word, a giant blast erupts from Oa's core, destroying much of the city as John calls for the lanterns to clear the civilians out. Sinestro meanwhile talks with the delegations, saying that he is the greatest of the Green Lanterns, and he put down the ring and opened his eyes to the ugly truth of the Owens, knowing that they are creatures of fear that loosed Krona on the universe and created the Manhunters and that fed the great crises. He knows that they are the ones who set the fires they rush to douse because they are cowards rife with fear, which is a cancer, and while fear owns the Owens, he and his legions have mastered it. He tells the delegates that New Karuga votes to deny Oa a place in the United Planets, as Ameria meanwhile wants to get everyone off-world so she and the Thanagarian fleet can cleanse the area, but John says that's not an option, knowing his people will handle this. The The Thanagarian warrior knows that the creature they fight is consuming everything, even their ring energy, but Jon says that they will defend Oa while she protects the Conclave, wanting her to go and get the delegates to safety. The two heroes continue to bicker about their jobs as they battle the energy monster, but Emeria soon orders her people to prime for orbital bombardment, telling Jon that she is only doing her job like he said. She takes her leave while Jon thinks about what to do, and soon he is met by a civilian who knows about the creature they fight and how the Guardians made it to defy all attack, as is written in the Book of Oa, which he happened to have studied extensively. He knows the creature is called a Matentrium and is the source of peace, and the Guardians made it because they feared the power and disorder from the emotional spectrums. Jon doesn't really like that description, since not all of their powers, like the will, is an emotional one. The man says that the Guardians built the beast to consume all chaos, but it is as much a riddle as it is a weapon. Simon tells Jon that Kelly is safe with the Brigadiers as the monster continues absorbing everything. The man says to defeat the weapon, the Guardians had to answer its question: what is the source of peace? Jon sends out an alert to all lanterns, telling every red lantern to get as far away as possible. The green lanterns assemble behind Jon, who wants them all to power down, since the monster eats off of chaos and any energy. He tells them that they aren't the rings or their deeds or their stories told about them, as the reds are rage, the yellows are fear, and the blues are hope. But the green lanterns are the force of will, and they are the mission, and they are all against chaos. The lanterns speak their oath, and the monster calms down, shrinking in size until it fits into the palm of Jon's hand, as he confronts the Queen, who is outraged that the Starheart is not free yet. Jon demands that they take her to the science cells and for medics to be deployed amongst the destroyed city, as in the Conclave, the Guardians defend their position, saying everything created by sentience is flawed and none of them can ever be perfect, and they were alone on Maltus for so long, with only the universe's mysteries as company, watching each of the other races grow into true civilizations. The Guardians knows that they fear like Sinestro thinks, but it is a fear that the other races won't be able to make it as a true civilization based on fundamental inalienable principles like justice, empathy, fairness, and discovery. And while they are all powerful, that power has been misused and they all suffer from Oa's legend, and they have believed the myth of omnipotence, but that is over now, since the Guardians are not their rulers or parents, but more like an older sibling, and it's time the family became one. However, the Guardians will accept any decision the Conclave makes. Soon the votes are all counted and Oa is accepted into the United Planets, welcomed with thunderous applause, but soon one of the beings fires a flaming arrow at the Guardians, demanding the Starheart be free. The arrow hits Guardians, killing him instantly, much to the shock of the entire Conclave and the Lanterns.